With Jeff Hardy's family members seemingly poking fun at his recent arrest and more, this is Wrestling Hub. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report for June 14th. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Hub Official and follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. Recalling when WWE made the switch to HD for Raw, SmackDown, and ECW, William Regal said on his Gentleman Villain podcast, Mr. McMahon pulled me to the side and he said, "Darren, can I talk to you? I want you to be the one. The first one who changes everything as far as facial wise. This HD TV picks up everything in a completely different world than we're used to. You're always the one known for pulling faces and big expressions. I want you to take it the other way, which is you do as little as possible, and the little nostril flares and glances." He might have asked a couple of people, but he asked me early on in that day of the first taping. I want you to do that. Tonight, go the exact opposite of what you have ever done before. With the topic of Alberto Del Rio entering the WWE Hall of Fame at hand online thanks to the former champion posting his credentials on Twitter, Booker T chimed in on his Hall of Fame podcast, saying this is a guy who took the wrestling world by storm when he came into WWE. Just his look, his presence. When you saw Alberto Del Rio walk into the room, you go, what's that dude right there? Dude was handsome. He was a big guy too, and he can perform at a very high level to the point where he became WWE champion, world champ, 4-time world champ, US champ, Royal Rumble winner. I don't put too many people on the pedestal. As far as being really good, Del Rio was really good. He played his part very, very well as far as this aristocrat, the Mexican with the gold spoon in his mouth. He had all of that, just the look and the feel. He definitely could have been high on the list as being a first ballot Hall of Famer, if it wasn't for his outside antics. In March, former WWE star Fandango said he'd be stepping away from the ring in a couple months, and on the Dropkick podcast clarified those comments. First of all, I just wanted to get rid of Twitter. In general, it's a very negative platform. It's kind of my own fault for reading the comments. It's good if you want to build your brand. I do construction back home. I'm kind of putting a lot more energy into that lately. I'm getting surgery this summer on my knee. I never said I was retiring. I said I was going to step away for a little while. Of course, the dirt sheets picked it up. Kinda got a kick out of it. I'm gonna get surgery on my knee. It's been bothering me for about a year now, and reevaluate this summer. Take the summer off, spend it with my girl and my dogs, and see where we're at. Wrestling is not going anywhere. Despite her husband joining AEW, Mia Yim told Metro why she decided to join Impact Wrestling. Ever since we started dating, it was like I never wanted to take his moves. We never wanted to be a tag team. We wanted to be our own separate brands. Sometimes we'll do mixed tags or whatever and do things together, but we didn't want to be known just for that. We established very early on that we were our own brand. We didn't have to always stay together. I always get asked, why didn't you go with Keith? It's like, because I'm my own person. I want to do what I want to do, you know? So as long as we support each other with whatever it is, we don't always have to be together. Nothing bad to say about AEW, but I'm just like, babe, this is your realm. Go and kill it over there. That is your home. He was super supportive of me going back to Impact. Yim would also speak to Busted Open Radio about toxic behavior on social media. So it's like, especially after the past year, there were a lot of people that's been rooting for me and just saying, why would they take her identity away? But then of course, you can get the stuff that you don't want to read or deal with, and it lingers on you. Social media is trash, to be honest. It hoards a lot of toxicity. After a lot of time at home, I was just trying to stay busy so I don't get into my own head, but it still leaks in. That's why I spent a lot of time, like once my 90 days were up in February, I'm like, I'm gonna take a month or two off just to focus on my real life and handle business at home and try to decide what exactly I wanted to do. Talking about the segment with Paul Heyman, Miz, and Riddle from Raw last night, Vince Russo said on his podcast that Heyman doesn't seem credible. Here's what's so lost to me. When you get to the end of the promo where Heyman has the mic, and he was like, "I've got a surprise for you and the Usos," and he does the mic flip. Bro, who are the Usos? You know what I'm saying? The Usos have been beaten a million times. So that's the thing. When Heyman's doing the Usos, there is no credibility to it. That's the problem. It's not that you are actually announcing or bringing in somebody out there that's been on a roll, that's been undefeated, and nobody's beaten them. You're doing the Usos, and you're flipping the mic like, "Oh, the Usos, like they haven't been beaten 15,000 times. There is no effect, bro. Nothing. Zero. As Riddle is set to challenge for the undisputed title on SmackDown when he faces Roman Reigns, Brian Alvarez noted on Wrestling Observer Live why this match isn't happening on the upcoming pay-per-view. Well, the bigger issue is they want to make money, and they've already made their money off Peacock. So putting Roman Reigns on Money in the Bank means absolutely zero to WWE. They don't make one dime if more people watch it because Roman Reigns is on there. But if they do big SmackDown ratings as a result of Roman Reigns defending the title on the show, well, then it comes time to renew your television deal and you make even more money. So we knew this was going to happen when they sold to Peacock, and that is that you ain't going to get those pay-per-views you used to get. You're going to get something, and they're going to give you matches. Like the big stuff, I mean, it's going to be a WrestleMania, or it's going to be in Saudi Arabia, or you know, wherever they're going to give the most money for this stuff. It was also said on Raw that if Riddle can't win, he can't challenge Roman for the title again. With Roman Reigns having a less demanding schedule as champion, the Observer mentioned that he's only set to appear on Raw once for most of the summer. The title's not gone right now, but it's not even on every pay-per-view, and the champion's not on TV all that often, and he's never on Raw. Almost never on Raw. The only time Reigns is going to be on Raw is the Raw from Madison Square Garden. That's his only Raw booking. The only time the champion will be on Raw pretty much the whole summer. A potential title change for Reigns is a possibility, with it said that, given the lack of depth, the idea of Seth as champion going into next year and Cody coming back to challenge Seth, that is a story. But I don't know what's going to happen. The thing with the championship now with Roman is that he's around some, but he's not around a lot, and this making one champion now and then Roman making his deal where he's never around is kind of weak when it comes to the championship. When it comes to Cody Rhodes' recent surgery, it was said by Dave Meltzer that the footage of it in its entirety could be used. I don't know that they'll talk about him for 9 months, you know, every week on television or anything. They could do it now. It's interesting that they did do a video feature on the surgery because they filmed the whole surgery. I guess maybe they'll save that for months down the line. It makes actually more sense to focus on it when he's about to come back than now, because anything they do now, they can't really cash in on it for, I don't want to say 9 months, but 5-6 months anyway. It was interesting too that Rollins, they're trying to make the story that Rollins took him out with the sledgehammer and that he was going to do Money in the Bank on the torn pec. But Rollins injured him to take him out of Money in the Bank. Obviously, that's not the case, but you know, that's an attempt to use Cody's injury to heat up Rollins. After picking up a count-out victory over Kevin Owens, Ezekiel said that Elias would be making a return to Raw next week. Talking about how WWE will pull this off, Meltzer said on Wrestling Observer Radio, the idea is to put a fake beard on him, or just show a tape from years ago. I'm sure that they'll be able to figure a way out of this one. It's not like this hasn't been done before. You can do trick photography, split screen. When Dusty Rhodes was the Midnight Rider, Dusty Rhodes and the Midnight Rider would be on the same TV show, and they'd be in the same scenes, because they'd use trick photography. So it's as old can be. This is nothing new in wrestling at all. Following his injury that put him out of action a month ago, Shelton Benjamin was seen wrestling a taped match on Main Event yesterday as he squared off against Tozawa. It remains to be seen what's next for the former Hurt Business member. It was reported by The Observer that following his DUI arrest, AEW is no longer promoting the ladder match Jeff Hardy was supposed to take part in, and WarnerMedia has been asked by the company to stop all promotion of Jeff Hardy in any commercials or anywhere else immediately. The Hardys were also set to be involved in AAA's Triple Mania event this Saturday, with it said that FTR could likely take their place. Hours before Jeff's arrest, Matt Hardy spoke to Lucha Libre Online about the ladder match, saying as long as Jeff clears, which I think he's going to clear okay, we really want to go out and tear the house down in this three-way ladder match and become the AEW World Tag Team Champions. If we do that, we are going to be the first tag team in pro wrestling history to hold the major World Tag Team title in 4 different decades. Matt Hardy would say this today: "It was disheartening to hear the news about my brother yesterday. Recovery isn't a linear process, and I'll continue doing whatever I can to help my brother be healthy. Being healthy and well is the most important thing for Jeff, his wife, his children, and our family at this time." With all the headlines about Jeff Hardy, fans have pointed out what Matt's wife Rebby posted on TikTok, seemingly making fun of Jeff's DUI arrest. One fan said in regards to this, "Just gonna say those legitimately upset by this video, she's family and a close friend of Jeff's. If she did this, he signed off on it. It's not for us to get or like. You don't know this relationship and what they laugh about. Stop being stupid." Another replied, "Her and Jeff's wife traded some words a few years back, so I doubt they find it funny." Footage from the arrest was recently released as officers can be seen pulling Hardy over and drawing their firearms on him. One side of the vehicle, Hardy can be seen stumbling as he admitted to having shots of Fireball before getting into his car. The officers, after moving to a nearby parking lot and administering sobriety tests, arrested Hardy at 9:54 a.m. yesterday in Volusia County, Florida. Tony Khan also released this statement: "We were able to resume contact with Jeff Hardy this afternoon. AEW does not condone Jeff's alleged behavior. We've made it clear to Jeff that we'll assist him in getting treatment for substance abuse issues, which he has indicated that he's open to receiving. In the interim, he is suspended without pay, and he can only return to AEW upon successfully completing treatment and maintaining his sobriety." According to Brad Shepard, Tessa Blanchard has been let go by Women of Wrestling, with it previously rumored that she had burned a bridge with the promotion after making a joke about wrestler Samantha Sage during a class in April. And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.